As you may or may not know, my wife and I just got back from Vegas. It was a great trip. We ate, we drank, we had a blast. But then we got home and looked at the credit card, and I gotta say, it doesn't matter how much fun you're having, $25 for a drink is a ripoff. Frickin' Vegas. I hate getting ripped off, and so do the lads over at Harry's. They spent years watching the razor blade companies rip people off and said, no more. Not all heroes wear capes, my friends, and they want to prove that they're legit by offering you hot dogs a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. I've been telling you about them for months, and I'm genuinely proud to have Harry's as a sponsor of this show. I wasn't kidding. The plastic, futuristic-looking crap razors you get at the store are overpriced and they're poor quality. Harry's blades are crisp, clean, and classy. They're the kind of razor you'd expect your grandpa to have on his bathroom counter. And most importantly, they work. Shave after shave, they're so smooth, they're precise. I used to go through the crappy store blades all the time, but Harry's are built to last. And they're not just better quality than the other names, they're more affordable. And they deliver. Just set your schedule, and for as little as $2, new blades, shaving creams, lotions, everything you need, right to your door when you need it. I genuinely cannot think of a reason not to try Harry's. And I'm not just saying this because they're sponsors. They're the best shaving supplies I've ever used. Try them out, and if you're not happy, your shave's on them. And unlike the other subscriptions, they're really easy to cancel if you want to too, which is a nice bonus, but believe me, you're not going to want to cancel. Getting ripped off isn't funny. Switch to Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. That's harrys.com/RTG for a $3 trial set. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 215, and it's another one of our patent pending revisited episodes where we take another look at a game we covered back in the baby days of Remember the Game, because I fucking hate those episodes. And I think most of those games are great and they deserve a second chance. We started doing this all the way back on episode number 105 with Super Mario World. We've done it every 10 episodes since, 115, 125, 135. You see the pattern there. And the tradition continues this week as we're going back to my precious Mega Man X for the Super Nintendo. We covered this bad boy all the way back on episode 10, and now 205 episodes, like 4 years, a full pandemic. My beard was one color the first time we covered Mega Man X. It has been a long fucking time, and it is finally back for a second course. Anyone that listens to this show with any regularity probably knows I'm a pretty big Mega Man fan, and Mega Man X is my absolute favorite of the bunch. I love 99.9% of this game. I love everything about this game minus one jump, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll explain it on today's episode. Also, I will say that this is one of, if not maybe the only, I don't want to say the only, but certainly there's not a lot of these episodes of Remember the Game where I actually maybe sound semi-knowledgeable. I get into a little bit of strategy, and I actually know what I'm talking about with this. I suck at most video games, but I think I'm pretty good at this one. I have played Mega Man X so many times. It is like Super Mario World to me. I actually think I said that during our game chat, that this is like my Super Mario World of Mega Man games. My guest this week is Old Faithful himself, Mr. Bradley McHugh, and we went through the few lows and almost infinite highs that make up Mega Man X, and both of us agreed that it's just a borderline flawless game. And we'll get there in just a minute, because speaking of being borderline flawless, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Consider this your warning. Our intros are kind of long, but they're fun. And they're not nearly Oh, wait, I forgot to. Oh, no. So every week on my note, I knew I forgot something in my notes. I don't write every word out that I'm going to say. I usually make bullet points. I copy out some Patreon comments I want to read. And then I just let my brain and my mouth kind of take me from point A to point B. But I usually write out some stupid thing where I say our intros are kind of long, but they're fun. And then I have a dumb example of what they are. And I forgot to do it this week. I still have last week's. They're not nearly as long as Metroid's passwords. I mean, I guess that still applies because I don't have anything else. I dropped our intro is better than I am at writing the notes for our intro. There it is. Done. If you do want to skip it, though, go to about the 30-minute mark and you'll hear Mega Man music and you'll be into the chat. But hang around. They're fun. We talk video games and stuff. I have to get the plugs out of the way. This is how I pay the bills. We have merchandise, hoodies, t-shirts, coffee mugs, posters, tank tops, all rocking art drawn by my man Joe from 4545creative.com. You can find all of our merchandise at rememberthegamepodcast.com if you're interested. It is a great way to support us here at Remember the Game. And of course, if you're like, close, not for me. I get it. I understand. You can always just support us on Patreon because it's about the greatest value in the history of the internet. For just $2 a month, you get 2 additional podcasts every fucking week. You get exclusive access to my gaming news podcast, Game Patch, every Friday, where I look at all the biggest news in modern video games, and I added my opinions and some profanity and stuff. And you also get access to Expansion Pass every Thursday, which is a different video game show every week. We do video game rankings. We look back at characters and consoles. We do some comedy episodes. There's modern game reviews. This past week on Expansion Pass, it was actually our 3rd entry into our Video Game Confessions trilogy. And if you don't know, we've done this each of the last 3 years. I've given our Patreons a chance to sound off and admit their dark gaming shames. It usually just turns into a comedy roast where I lose my temper and start lighting everybody up for the horrible things that they've done. And I gotta say, they are absolutely some of the most popular episodes of our Expansion Pass library. So this week it was episode 3, the 3rd edition, and as is becoming tradition here in the infamous intro, here is a sneak peek of that episode of Expansion Pass, Gamer Confessions Part 3. Too old for hard mode. I struggled with the transition to SNES and later controllers because I played my NES with my index finger and middle finger on A and B instead of my thumb.
God, choking on my own plate here.
You are the worst. Too old for hard mode. That any of you freaks that play with an NES controller and use 2 of your index and middle fingers instead of your thumbs, you are freaks. We talked about that not too long ago. You are freaks. And I don't like it. And you're not too old for hard mode. You're not good enough for hard mode. That's your fucking problem. That's disgusting. Unbelievable. Stupid Sexy Flanders says, "Hi, I'm Flanders, and I can't beat games on normal difficulty or higher. It's easy or casual, or it's a no-go." That's just pathetic. So that episode is now available in our archives to all of our Patreons. And this week, for Expansion Pass number 129, we're doing something a little bit different. I asked 4 of my regular guests, Mark McHugh, David Ray, Mike the Ref, and Bradley McHugh, to all join me for the first ever Remember the Game draft. Each of those guys drafted 10 NES games, fantasy football style, with the hope of convincing our listeners that they drafted the best lineup. Our patrons will have a chance to vote for who assembled the best lineup of games after the episode goes live, and we'll be donating $100 to the charity of the winner's choice. I did not draft myself. I just served as the host/moderator, and I hope you all enjoy this episode because it's one of my favorite episodes of Expansion Pass we've ever recorded. I thought it was a lot of fun. So that'll be available tomorrow to all of our patrons, and again, $2 gets you access to that, 2 additional shows a week, and instant access to over 200 archived episodes, plus access to our Remember the Game Discord, which is at almost 800 members now, I think. The chance to vote in our Patreon poll at the end of every month. It's coming up right away. The ability to submit comments to be read on all of our podcasts. You can DM with me, and you get a shout out and get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm about to do to most of these people. A huge thank you to all of our newest Patreons. Here we go. I've been really bad at these lately. McGrathen, Bryce Fails, Heman Demon, Queefla Beef, Raunchy Pilot, Welcome Thrill House in all capitals, Mike Blaster Masters, Jake Copadice, James Senabria, Eaz, Gary Zielinski, Alexander Stephen Hughes Ryson. That sounds like a royalty name. Derek Cox, Jason Daniels, Rob Baronji, Dakota Guy, Doug Robinette, Alexander Camps, Neil Cooper, Jeremy Bell, Canchiostinalis Treasure. That's as close as I'm getting. Charles Berry, Willie V, Eli Gonzalez, Matthew Masters, Mr. Vintendo, Tom Houlihan, not to be confused with Hot Lips Houlihan from MASH. I love that show. Codal Condom. Yeah, I said that one right. Codal Condom. William Burns, Dish, Ted Explosion, and Carpet Static. Thank you all so much for the support and welcome to Remember the Game Industries. Patreon.com/rememberthegame. And to wrap up that sales pitch, do not forget 5% of our Patreon every month is being donated to the Stollery Children's Hospital in December as part of my 24-hour charity stream. We're at almost $2,000 already. And we're now offering annual memberships. And if you sign up for an annual membership at any Patreon tier, you get the 12th month free. Fuck yeah. And finally, you can find me on Twitch. If you're interested, my schedule is completely irrational and I just hop on there whenever I can, but it's twitch.tv/rememberthegame if you want to come by and hang out. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always, and we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow. Our first blower this week is Adam Stanley, great name, who wrote in and said, "Hey, sir, with the announcement that they're remastering Suikoden, I was curious of your thoughts on character rosters. How much is too much and what game did it best? With Suikoden having 60 and Chrono Cross having 40, I feel like it has to be somewhere closer to like 10 or so. Thank you and have a good one." Thanks, Adam. Yeah, if you don't know, and we're going to get more into that on Game Patch on Friday for Patreons, patreon.com/rememberthegame. I'm not going to do that. I feel so weird. I feel so weird plugging Patreon outside of the intro, but I don't want to be that guy. But anyway, we are going to get more into this on Game Patch this week. But yeah, if you didn't see it, it's been announced that they are remastering Suikoden 1 and 2 and going to be releasing sometime next year on everything. You know what? I can kill two birds with one stone here. I will answer your question, Adam. But just quickly, I do get asked semi-regularly if I'm ever going to review the Suikoden games. The answer is probably not. And let me explain why. I've tried Suikoden 2 for the podcast, and I see the brilliance of it. But I'm not great at JRPGs. I don't love JRPGs, and I don't like giant parties. To kind of tie this into Adam's, I just don't enjoy having to balance a giant I hate that fucking part. So I got a little into Suikoden, saw how many people I could recruit, and I was like, this just is not for me. So you don't have to write in and try to convince me. I'm not dunking on your game. I don't think I can do it justice and give it a good podcast, so I'm not going to play it. I don't want to play it. I don't think I'm going to review it. It's just too big of a roster. So now to answer your question, Adam, I agree. I've always said, as much as I like Final Fantasy 3/6, and I do think it's a great game, I prefer 2/4 because I don't like having to balance a roster of like a dozen, 15, whatever amount of people it is. You don't want to know the truth, and maybe this isn't a popular opinion. I prefer RPGs where I can't rotate my teammates. That's part of the reason I like Final Fantasy 2/4 so much. You have 5 team members of your team, and the game decides when somebody's leaving and somebody else comes in. I wish more games were like that. So 5 members, 4 members in Earthbound, which is another one of my favorite RPGs. Super Mario RPG has 5. I like small, personally. If you want my maximum, I mean, I guess I don't have a definitive, but I would say 10, give or take around 10. You know, that Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 9, and I don't remember exactly how many party members you have in those games, but getting upwards toward 10. That's it for me. Dude, my least favorite part of JRPGs is getting into a village with like, and then having to go to like the weapon and armor store and fucking go through like 30 people and find their equipment. It's like Pokemon. I have my team of 6, and I don't even care who I catch afterwards. You're probably not making the cut. I keep it small. Keep it simple, stupid. I like a smaller team. Thanks, Adam. Astro Alpica wrote in and said, "Hey, Adam, would you rather A, cuddle with Pyramid Head from Silent Hill 2 for a night, B, go grocery shopping with Navi from Ocarina of Time, or C, perform stand-up comedy in front of an audience full of Titus clones from Final Fantasy X?" I would rather D, drink a entire bottle of bleach. Those all sound terrible. If I have to pick one, I'm going to go with stand-up comedy in front of an audience full of Titus clones because I could just bomb on purpose and just light them all up and make fun of them for how their dad hated them and stuff. I hate Titus. Pyramid Head, I've never actually played Silent Hill 2, but that thing terrifies me. And Navi is the worst. Navi would be a second, though. But I'll take the comedy in front of Titus and just light them up. And then I would try to talk Blitzball because I like Blitzball. Tom Houlihan. I have no idea if that last name has anything to do with Hot Lips Houlihan from MASH, but I grew up loving MASH, watching it with my dad. I can't hear that name and not think of Hot Lips. But anyways, Tom wrote in and said, finally, it's my turn to blow in the cartridge. Honestly, I've been so excited to write on here that I don't know what to say now. Adam, do you have a main website that you stick to for walkthroughs, or you just pick whatever from a Google search? Also, do you prefer text or video-based walkthroughs? I prefer text with pictures myself. Thank you. Come again. Thanks, Tom, and welcome to the team. I do usually go just Google search. I don't have a particular website. I try to get as specific as possible because I hate looking shit up. So if I have to look shit up, I want to get as specific. Like, if I'm like, oh, I don't know how to deal with the ladder puzzle in these this yellow warehouse with the, I'll try to type it in as specifically as possible. I do prefer video though. I prefer short video clips. That's my favorite thing is when I go to Google and I type in where I'm stuck and then I click the videos and there's like a 1-minute video segment just showing me how to do it. Mwah. God bless all of the people that take time to put those videos up on YouTube because that is my preference through and through. Although I will say there's something to be said for old school gaming FAQs. Anyone that grew up in that area, you know. Thanks for writing in, Tom. DevLoveX wrote in and said, hey, Adam, so with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm going with Tears. I think if they've confirmed that it's Tears, I think they have. With The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom coming out next year, my hype levels are through the roof. So I have a question related to this game. What kind of things would you add to Breath of the Wild to make it better without going too far and taking away what made the game so amazing in the first place? It's a fine line in my opinion, and I don't envy the developers who have to follow up such an acclaimed masterpiece of a video game. Sorry if my comment is too long. You're good, DevLove. As far as answer your question, so I don't want to take shit for this. I'm just going to get it out there. I don't dislike Breath of the Wild, but it is not like we did an episode of Expansion Pass where I named my 100 favorite games of all time. Breath of the Wild did not make my 100 favorite games of all time. I don't think it's in my top 5 Zelda games. It's not bad. I'm not one of those people that hates it. That's like, it's not a Zelda game. And if you feel that way, that's fine. But like, with no particular ordering or thought put into it, my top 5 Zelda games are probably Link to the Past, Link Between Worlds, Oracle of Seasons, Wind Waker, and probably Link's Awakening. I prefer 2D. That said, I thought Breath of the Wild was fine. You know what I would fucking change more than anything? The first thing I would change in that game is I would make the weapons more durable. Because I fucking hated that. I fucking hated it. I hated the weapons constantly breaking. I would also make it an option to just cook in a menu without having to do the individual cooking one recipe at a time. Like you could just say, I want to make 5 of these and then click and it's done. You don't have to watch the stupid animation. I mean, other than that, I liked what Zelda did. I don't think I would change, but I agree with you. I don't envy the developers at all. I know some people are probably listening to this and yelling that you want to see it go back to the traditional Zelda of like 7 big dungeons with puzzles and stuff. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I did enjoy looking for all of the little shrines and figuring out how to solve them. So maybe if they could find a way to combine the two, but those are my big things. I haven't put a lot. I don't know what else I'd want to change. But my biggest thing is stop breaking fucking weapons after like 10 swings and let me skip through recipes so I don't have to do that over and over again. But I also want to say I agree with you, DevLove. I've thought about that before too. I would argue Breath of the Wild 2 or Tears of the Kingdom, whatever you want to call it. If it may not be the most anticipated sequel of all time, but it is up there. And expectations are through the fucking roof for that game. And I would not want to be in charge of trying to reach them either. I 100% agree. That sounds like a no-win. Like I say no-win because I bet you they'll pull it off. But I wouldn't want to be the one making the decisions on that game. Fuck no. Just for the love of Christ, let a fucking, it's a goddamn steel sword. Let me swing it more than 8 times, please. Fucking please. Fucking Nintendo. Thanks, DevLove. Normal Normie said pancakes or waffles. If I'm making them, pancakes. If I'm eating them, waffles. Making waffles is a pain in the ass, but they're so much more satisfying to eat. Petesworth wrote in and said, "Hey, Adam, I'm not sure if you've already addressed this before, but how do you find the motivation to play through so many video games while not getting burned the fuck out? While myself and the community adore video games, I find myself getting into ruts from time to time where I don't have any interest or pleasure playing anything. I cycle through my library like I'm on Netflix, and when I fire something up, I'm left with disappointment and immediately close the game out unsatisfied. Have you gone through something like this? If so, do you have any advice for how to get back that joy? Maybe I'm just being a weenie hut junior and need to suck it up. Thanks for the awesome content. Cheers." I've never heard someone call themselves a weenie hut junior, but I'm taking that, Petesworth. Thank you. Yeah, I go through that a lot. Truth be told, I've kind of talked about it a little bit on a couple of my streams and stuff. Since the podcast took off, this has become my job. And when I'm not recording, a lot of time I'm playing games for the show. And there are times where listen, I'm not trying to sound like I'm not grateful for this job. I'm so grateful for the opportunity Remember the Game has given me and everything. But like, a hobby has become work. And there are times where I'm like, I just want to play fucking Tetris or go back and just play through the Mario games again. But I'm like, I can't, because I need to be plugging away at the backlog for the podcast and getting more done. So I definitely run into that. And then when I do have time to play something that I want to play, I've played so many games for the show that I'm like, I am burned out. So my advice to you and anyone else that's struggling with that, because I have been there, I get there a lot, is just take some time away from games. Like when I get burned out on games, when I'm not playing them for the show, I play poker, or I play chess, or I read. I don't mean this like in a joking way, but I go outside, like I go for a bike ride or something. I just take some time away from them, because I agree with you. Like, once it starts to feel like work, and I mean that for just anyone that plays them for fun, not so much for work like I do, but like, once they start to feel like you just feel obligated, you're like, oh, my backlog is so big, I don't feel like playing anything, but I feel like I have to play something. You're kind of defeating the purpose. So if you're burnt out on them, just step away for a couple of weeks. Step away for a couple of weeks altogether. And then just wait till it organically comes back and you got that hankering. That's what my recommendation would be. That's what I try to do. I'm kind of doing that right now. I just finished, I'll get into this when I talk about what I'm playing. I just finished The Last of Us Part 1, and I'm currently working on Grand Theft Auto 4 for the show, and I just feel kind of burnt out on games. So I do play Grand Theft Auto 4 during the day when I have time, because I want to get it done for the show. But I haven't been playing as much games in the evening lately. I've been reading a lot more and playing a lot of poker, and just like online, and just kind of not playing games. And it keeps me from running the tank down to empty. That's all. And finally, before we move on, it's letter time. It's letter time. Oh, and someone new, which is cool, thank you for joining the community, was like, dude, that sounds like Video and Arcade Top 10. That's exactly where I stole it from. And actually, if you go back in the archives about 100 episodes ago, I interviewed Nicholas Pickles, the former host of Video and Arcade Top 10. That's one of my favorite episodes ever, too. That was a trip. But it is letter time. Chris Pinchin wrote in and said, the NES is over 35 years old and has memorable games like Super Mario Brothers, The Legend of Zelda, etc. What games from the modern era do you think will have a lasting impression 35 years from now? I love this discussion. I can't remember if we've dedicated a full episode of Expansion Pass to this or not. If we haven't, I know it's on my ideas list. I would definitely like to. I put a lot of thought into this answer. And to me, the two, and you can roll your eyes and get mad, I don't care. I'm telling you, the two games that I think will have a lasting impression, number one by far is Minecraft. And I don't care if you like Minecraft or not. Anyone that doesn't think that, like, in the grand scope of gaming, Minecraft isn't going to go down as one of the all-time greats is lying. You're wrong. You don't have to like it. That's fine. It is going to go down, as an entire generation was raised on Minecraft, just like an entire generation was raised on Super Mario Brothers. So that was number one for me, no question. I would argue Fortnite is probably up there as well. I don't love Fortnite, but I definitely see the appeal. And again, there's a whole generation of new gamers being raised on it. It's going to be one of their big games. Those are the big two that jump out at me. A couple of the other ones are like, unless people are mad about all the monetization and the re-releases and stuff, I would think Grand Theft Auto 5 probably goes down as an all-time 35 years from now classic. I think Red Dead Redemption 2 probably does. I think The Last of Us, and I'm biased because I love that game, but I think it might go down as one of those. Breath of the Wild probably does, even though it's not for me. I think it probably falls into that classification as well. Those, I would argue that those are, I mean, maybe God of War 2018 is considered one of those. It's so hard to like look back and be like, that's a game that in 35 years people will still be talking about. To me, the two that I have no doubt in my mind are Minecraft and Fortnite. And then if I had to pick a third one, it actually would probably be Red Dead Redemption 2. Those would probably be and then probably Breath of the Wild. If those would be the ones that I would put money on as locks, that like 35 years from now, people will talk about those as all time. And I'm sure I forgot some, and people are yelling at their fucking like. Listen, I love Hades, I love Hollow Knight. You know, I Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 2 remake, Final Fantasy 7 remake. Like, there's lots of Deathloop I loved. Metroid Dread was rad. Like, there's tons, but to me, Minecraft and Fortnite are locks to be all-time greats, and Red Dead 2 and Breath of the Wild are pretty close. And then I'll throw Last of Us in there at number 5 just to round out the 5 that I think are going to stand the test of time. Okay, we got to move on. That was a long answer. Thank you, Chris. Thank you to everybody that wrote in this week. We're getting like 70 blows in the cartridge a week now. I read 6, so if you're not getting read, I'm sorry. Keep trying. I will promise. I try to get to as many as I can, and feel free to DM me on Patreon if you're submitting comments. I'll answer any question you got, okay? Let's switch things up and let's get into our Smash Hit segment, the official game show of Remember the Game Industries. Play 1, remake 1, erase 1. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week, I give our listeners 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. And as always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. I'll tell you what it is in a second. And this week, because we're talking Mega Man X, I went with 3 additional Mega Man games. 3 of them more oddball. Not oddball, but not main. Anyway, Mega Man Legends for the original PlayStation, Mega Man Battle Network for the GBA, and Mega Man X Command Mission, which I think it was on PS2. I played it on GameCube. It might have been on PS2 as well. I'm not sure. But anyways, 47% of you said you'd play Mega Man Battle Network, remake Mega Man Legends, and erase Mega Man X Command Mission. That's a big chunk of the listeners, but I kind of don't disagree. Let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Skylar Baird wrote in and said, play Battle Network because it was fun and simple. Remake Legends because that world redone and remade would be phenomenal. And erase Command Mission because I've never played it. One of the few Mega Man games that I can say that about. P.S. Adam, if you play Ape Escape for the podcast, I'll cry tears of joy for a week. I love you. No one has ever said they love me before. I think Molly would if she could talk, my dog, but no one's ever said that. That's nice. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, normally I dunk on people for erasing a game they've never played, but if you really like Battle Network and Legends, I can live with that. And frankly, I'll get into my thoughts on Command Mission in a minute, but I wanted to like that game a lot more than I did. And as far as Ape Escape goes, I've never played it. It's not easy to get your hands on because you can't even add it to your PS Classic because it doesn't have the analogs. But I did just happen to upgrade my PS Plus on my PS5 to the PS Plus premium level, and it is one of the classic games, and it may or may not have been downloaded onto my PS5. Doesn't mean I'm playing it yet, but it may or may not have been downloaded. It was downloaded. Max Renault said, all right, play Command Mission. I didn't play it back then, and I could have missed out on a dope game. Remake Legends. Out of all 3 games, this is the one that could benefit the most out of a current gen remake, or the current gen capabilities, pardon me. And erase Battle Network. One had to go, and in this case, this. Also, I was never a fan of the Battle Network series to begin with. Now listen, more than anything, I want to just say, and you're going to hear, I guess I'm kind of spoiling my answers, but I absolutely 1,000,000,000% agree with Max. Of these 3 games, PS1 games can just always use a remake. It doesn't even, like, yes, they can. I get that logic for sure. Salmon Avocado Roll said, play Command Mission because I don't believe I have, and I'm down to give any game a fair chance. That's the right answer. Remake Battle Network. I played this series all the time as a kid. I have fond memories of having lunchtime link cable battles with my friends at school. Keep the gameplay as it is, just update the graphics and animations, and do not add voice acting. I actually agree with that too. And erase Mega Man Legends. I've tried to like this game since I was young, but I could never get into it. By the rules, one has to go. I actually have nothing to... You didn't go with the order I would go with, Salmon Avocado Roll, but I have no beef with a single aspect of your comment. So you get an A-. Well done. Blade said, Battle Network is a fantastic game as it is, warts and all, so play it. Legends is still a great experience, but it needs an update to its control scheme, and it needs a 3rd game in the series, so remake it. And Command Mission has its positives, but if it didn't exist, it wouldn't be the greatest loss in Mega Man history. It hurts that I have to say it, as less Axel in my life is always a negative. You know what, Blade? I don't disagree with that either, because I'm shocked at how many people don't even know what Mega Man X Command Mission is. And if you don't know, it was like a Mega Man RPG. I'll get into it in my answers. But I really thought more people knew of this game. And a lot of people wrote in saying they'd never played it, didn't really know what it was. And finally, Man Keegs is cool wrote in. And I disagree with that because, you know you're cool when you have to put yourself being cool in your fucking handle. But Keegs said, I usually only vote without commenting, but this is a good one. All three of these games are up there. I got to play Command Mission. I love RPGs, so to get one with X and Zero is dope. Remake Mega Man Legends. These games were super fun dungeon crawlers with a Mega Man twist and a great cast of characters. And that leaves a Racing Battle Network. It sucks, but the first in the series was really rough. And with my rules, the rest of the much better games in the series are still there. And that's the thing. A lot of people ask me, if you erase a game, do you erase the series? There is no answer. It's all up to you. If you erase a game, you're taking the chance that nothing else changes, or you're taking the chance that everything changes. So I dislike your handle, but I like your logic, Keegs. Well done. I'm torn this week for my answer personally because I hate erasing or remaking games that I've never played, but I've never played Battle Network or Legends, and one of them's got to get remade and one of them has to get played. And I just think a PS1 game needs a remake more than a GBA game does. So I think I actually have to go with the 47% of you, as does Guy 8286, who says, I would simply play Battle Network because it's good as it is, remake Legends because modern graphics and mechanics are making an epic game more epic, and unfortunately erase Command Station because I have no attachment to it. Why I read your comment, Guy, is because you said you had no attachment to the game and then got its name wrong. It's Command Mission and you called it Command Station, and I'm sure it was just an honest mistake, but that made me laugh that you're like, I don't even know what a nuclear plant was. Shout out to that reference. So I love your answer, Guy. That's what I'm going to do too. I'm going to play Mega Man Battle Network because I never have. I really want to. I love that genre. I promise you all that have been asking me to play it, when the collection comes out next year on the Switch, I will be buying it and playing it. 1,000,000,000%. I'm going to remake Mega Man Legends because I've never played it either. And like I said, I think a PS1 game just needs a remake more than a GBA game does 99 out of 100 times. And I'm going to race Mega Man X Command Mission because I was really stoked for this game. I bought it on GameCube. I'm a huge Mega Man X fan. I was still semi into RPGs back then. I thought it looked rad. I probably tried to get into this game half a dozen times, and it just couldn't do it. It just did not click with me at all. So I have tried it. I have no urge to ever play it again. It can be erased. Command Station is what we're calling it now. Sorry. Thanks everybody for writing in. What have I been playing? And then we'll get into Mega Man X. That's why you're here. Last night I finished The Last of Us Part 1, which is the PS5 re-release of The Last of Us. And I know a lot of you are like, yeah, that didn't need to be had. That was a cash grab. It's the same game. I don't disagree with any of those, but it is absolutely one of my top 3 favorite video games of all time. And I'll keep buying it if they keep releasing it because I'm part of the problem. Still brilliant. Still just one of the greatest video games ever made. I love The Last of Us. I've also been playing Splatoon 3. I'm torn on if I'm going to give it a review on Expansion Pass in a couple weeks or not. I don't dislike Splatoon 3, but I loved the original on the Wii U. I liked Splatoon 2, but I found myself getting bored of it. And I got to say, after a couple weeks, it's not that it's bad, but I'm kind of getting bored of it again. I'm going to give it a little bit more time. It's just, I sit down and some nights I can play it and play it for a couple hours and have fun. And some nights I can play it for 10 minutes. And I'm like, it's so repetitive. And I don't play a lot of online shooters. So maybe that's normal for people. I don't know. I can't decide on Splatoon 3 yet. Jury could go either way on this one. And then I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 4 as I have been for a couple weeks for an upcoming episode of Remember the Game. It's my first time through it. Really, really liking it. It is dope. Good enough. Let's talk Mega Man X. That's why your kids are here. I like to give our listeners a chance to sound off on the game we're talking about before my guest and I hog the spotlight. And I'm going to rip through a few of your comments right now. Here we go. Punk Rock Geek said a game like this, or a game that has aged like fine wine. I play it several times a year, and every time I beat it, I'm looking forward to playing it again. I literally agree with every single word in those 2 sentences. It has aged like fine wine. I also play it a few times a year, and I also want to play it every time. I also look forward to playing it again every time I do. 100%. Knife goes in, guts come out. I love this comment. This game is beautiful. I tried playing it for the first time a few weeks ago, and I thought it was fun until I got to Chill Penguin. Fuck him. How the fuck can I not get past the first boss? I really wanted to play it because the concept is amazing, but my stupid ass can't get past the easiest boss. Fuck that. Fair enough. And the thing is, you're right. You started with the right enemy. I think that I will say Knife goes in, guts come out because if you've played through Chill Penguin's level, you've got the dash boots. Again, I don't usually do this, but this is one of the few games I feel like I know something about. If you're still struggling with Chill Penguin, I would recommend going to Flame Mammoth and maybe try starting there. I find him to be one of the easier bosses in the game too. Master the ability to dash jump off the walls. So you can climb the walls, and then if you hit dash and jump at the same time, you'll shoot across like the whole screen. So you can jump over Flame Mammoth or Chill Penguin. Maybe that's your next best bet, is to try out Flame Mammoth. Anyway, there you go. Ztrox369. wrote in and said, Zero is better than Proto Man, but Proto Man's theme song is better than the Zero theme song. I agree with the theme song take, but I disagree on Zero. I fucking hate Zero. Unpopular take. I get into it on the show. I'm a Proto Man guy. I am Proto Man fan number 1. I love that guy. Zero, he reminds me of Zach Morris. I don't like him. Scott Brooks said this was such a dramatic 8-bit to 16-bit upgrade of the classic games from the classic games. Pardon me. This was such a dramatic 8-bit to 16-bit upgrade of the classic games from the NES. More so than Mario, I'd argue. The level design was amazing. Exploring to find all the heart containers, E-tanks, and suit upgrades was a blast. And the music. Mwah. I'm 40 years old and I still fire this up when I have some time to kill it. I just want that pure shot of nostalgia adrenaline that only the Mega Man games can provide. A true top-tier gem that will never get old. At least not as old as me. I feel you, Scott. I'm almost 39. And it'll never catch up to me as far as being old either, but it'll also never get old, whereas I jumped the shark years ago. And finally, Captain N said, I have played this game so much, I think I can beat it from muscle memory alone. There is no better Mega Man than this one. Music, controls, story, challenge. This is the Mega Man. I agree, and it's time for me to spend 50 minutes basically saying the exact same thing Captain N said in 15 seconds. My buddy Bradley McHugh is going to join me after I cue up some of that fucking outstanding Mega Man X music. And when it stops, we're going to tell you why this game is so goddamn good. We're talking Mega Man X, which originally released in North America on the Super Nintendo in January of 1994. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Everyone that listens to this podcast knows about our illustrious CEO, my dog Molly. But the other silent partner behind the scenes is my wife. And let me tell you, my friends, a 17-year relationship with another person that has to talk to and live with you is a lot harder to maintain than one with a dog. We've had our ups and downs, and as you all know, a relationship isn't all sunshine and rainbows. They can be a lot of work. You get out what you put in when it comes to relationships, and talking to a therapist can be a fantastic way to put in some work. They can help you work through your issues, learn to communicate better, and even just provide you with an ear to bend when you need it. I've talked to my therapist about my relationships, especially when it came to my stand-up comedy career and how much I was away from home, and they helped me work on ways to keep my relationship strong even when I was out on the road. It turned out our relationship was actually better when I was out on the road, but that's a story for another day. And I know, right? Therapy. Who has the time these days? BetterHelp hears you, and they're making it easy. Fill out a quick form online, and they'll match you up with a therapist that suits your needs and that'll work around your schedule. You pick the meet times, and you can get your therapy fix from anywhere, over video, phone, or just chat. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/rememberthegame today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right. Now, here's the thing. Okay, you all know, joining me via the blank phone this week, longtime friend of the show, and up until the Majora's Mask episode of a couple of months ago, Hall of Fame nominee. I like, and you were banned just for the Majora's Mask episode. It's my buddy Bradley McHugh. What's up, man?
Not much. I did get in trouble. I've been ejected from the Hall of Fame. They had a big guy with a big security guy throw me out with two hands. Yeah. It's pretty scary, actually.
And it was tough because Molly, my dog, who is actually the CEO of Remember the Game, loves Majora's Mask. So I had to have you banned behind her back. Like, she has no idea.
Good to know she has good taste.
Well, yeah, she's a good girl.
Someone in that organization has to, I guess.
Fuck me. I will say, though, I don't, I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I've had you on for an individual episode since Majora's Mask. I don't think so. I don't think so. So if I haven't, Just let me tell you, dude, people really, really liked that episode. So thanks again to you and Mark. You guys killed it. You guys did a great job.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I had such a good time being on that episode.
And I'm so glad that I don't have to talk about that game. You're my hero. Fuck me. Fortunately,
I'm glad I got to talk about that game. I love it.
I know. It was win-win. Now people are like, are you just going to have them do all of the games you don't want to do? And I'm like, no, because this is what I was afraid of. Everyone's going to be like, oh, man, the show is actually better without Adam. And I'm like, you can't take that. No, God damn it.
Please don't request episodes without me.
Yeah, God damn it. But no, fortunately this week I have you on the show to talk another game that plays on the Double M theme, except this one is good. In fact, not only is this one good, this one is borderline perfect. We are revisiting my beloved Mega Man X for the Super Nintendo, which we originally covered back on like episode 10 or something. Now, I'm going to shut up in a second and give you the floor and let you share your open, because I don't know if the Remember the Game universe has ever heard what Bradley McHugh thinks of Mega Man X. But let me just start this show by saying everyone that listens to the show with any regularity knows exactly what I think of this game. I adore it. It is one of my 10 favorite games of all time. I think it is the best Mega Man game ever made, and I've played a lot of Mega Man. I love this fucking game. So before I just get down on my knees and pleasure X for the next 45 minutes or so, Bradley, what do you think of Mega Man X? No wrong answers. I won't even get mad. You're already banned from the Hall of Fame. You can do no wrong. What do you think of this game? Yeah, you have nothing to lose. What do you think of this thing?
I could really come in here and say just about anything, and I could get away with that. I could be like, Mega Man X is just as good as Mario is Missing. I'm thrilled, like.
You're right, though. You could. Fuck
I could, but anyway, I'm not gonna say that. So, Mega Man X, I had it on a collection on the GameCube as a kid.
Yeah.
And so I played it there, and I really liked it. But I was a kid, and I was bad at video games, so I don't even think I ever beat like more than a couple of the monsters or the robot masters.
Yeah.
And so I always like really had fond memories of playing Mega Man X, but I'd never really dived really hard into it. And then you were like, hey, we should do this on Remember the Game. So I picked up the Mega Man Legacy X collection on Xbox One.
Yep.
And from an adult perspective, I gotta say, this is pretty much a flawless video game. There's nothing wrong here.
No, I agree. It's a great fucking game. To me, so I want to get the bad out of the way, because I always like to start them off by getting the bad out of the way. And there's a couple of very minor gripes that I have with this game before I suck its dick for the next hour. To me, the biggest fault of this game, and I don't even think this is a fault for everybody, but as a Mega Man traditionalist, I feel this is among the easier, if not, maybe not the easiest Mega Man game, but definitely one of. And I'm not saying that this is like Kirby easy, but compared to some other Mega Man games, this one is fairly forgiving, in my opinion.
I totally agree, because we talked about Mega Man X3 on this show, and that game was just fucking unbelievable.
Oh yeah, we did do Mega Man X3, didn't we? Yeah, I don't love that. I took some shit for that episode too, but I it's not terrible, but I don't love that game.
Yeah, it doesn't do much for me either. Yeah, I don't know. Mega Man X, it kind of is everything I want a Mega Man game to be. Granted, I don't know. I haven't played some of the more recent games, like Mega Man up to 11, and I don't think I played 10 either.
Right.
So I don't know if they maybe fixed a lot of stuff, but there's a couple of things in this game that just grind me a little bit, that piss me off.
Go ahead. And I want to know what those are, because I'll say it.
Unbelievable fault, and it pissed me off so much. And that fault is that the respawning enemies in this game, out of control.
It is
out of control.
I will say there are a couple of moments in this game where you're particularly I find parts where you have to climb, wall climb.
Yes.
And you get hit by something and fall down. And it's one thing if you were to fall back down to the ground and start hiking back up. But if God help you, if you go 1 pixel under where an enemy spawns, that enemy is back. I agree.
So you could, because the enemies move, it could follow you out of view of its spawn point, which happened quite often. You'd kill the enemy, you go back and you'd be like, oh, well, for fuck's sake, I killed him for nothing. He's back again.
I agree. Now, on that note, though, I think part of the reason I find this game so easy is because there are several spots where it's super easy to farm health health pellets and fill up your energy tanks if you want to. So like particularly in Armored Armadillo stage. So like with the bats, because they're one hit kills and they drop health all the time. So like there are parts where that helps, but I will concede that point. And like, listen, you and I are both old. By gamer standards, you and I are old. We've both played our share of NES games. I'm fully aware that a lot of old video games have respawning enemies, but I will concede the point that it is borderline obnoxious how quickly, because you're right, an enemy can follow you down a wall, you kill it, and you've gone 2 pixels from where that enemy spawned, and then that enemy is back, and you're like, come on.
There is a section of, I believe it's Sigma Stage 2, where you have to go up and all of the enemies crawl on the wall.
Yeah.
And so the only way to shoot them is by jumping off the wall and doing a quick shot. Like that part in particular, I was boiling.
Is that the part where there's also those green shielded guys that drop their shield? Yeah. So yeah, because I agree, that part is frustrating. I ended up like, I rarely use my Robot Master weapons outside of fighting Robot Masters because I'm that guy that is afraid to use his power ups. But I straight up went with Launch Octopus's homing missiles in there and just started mashing them. Like everything that moved, I was like, fuck me. Because I agree, that part can be, and the thing is like, it's not going to kill you. It's just going to frustrate you. Not enough damage in there to kill you, and half the enemies drop health.
They're dropping health, so like you're really never going to die. It just takes a while.
Yeah, I'll concede that. Oh, I have one other thing, but yeah, I'll concede that point. That part is frustrating. Is there anything else? Fair me, by all means.
Oh, I am trying to think of negatives because I really do have much more to positive to say about this game.
Oh, yeah.
I also don't like that there are points in the game where you kind of have to get hit by an enemy in order to proceed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I know what you're saying. I just, admittedly, off the top of my head, can't think of a spot. But I'm not saying they don't exist. I just can't think of one off the top. There'll be enemies
like in a clump, and like the only way to get through them is to like jump and land in the middle of them, and then use your after hit invincibility to get out of there.
Yeah.
And so like, and that being said, that's a pretty minor pick. I'm really just kind of looking for shit, you know.
So my biggest gripe, because I don't like. As somebody that loves, like, part of the reason I have such a fetish, particularly for the original 11 Mega Man games, minus Mega Man 8, I fucking hate that game. But all the other original 11 Mega Man games, I love the difficulty. Some people like the Dark Souls games, Elden Ring. Some people, like, everyone's got, or not everyone, some people like to play Halo campaigns on Legendary. These are my Legendary Halo Dark Souls games. Like, I like them hard. Like, I want hurt me. I want you to hurt, like, fucking leather and whips and chains fucking hurt me. I love it. But
you're Guitar Hero 3 through the fire and the flames on expert.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. But there is, so the easy thing is a minor criticism because I would prefer it more difficult, but I do think it makes this game more accessible to people that might have tapped out during Mega Man 3 or something like that. But there is one, and listen, dude, I'm not going to fault you for this. There are 4 hidden power-ups for X in this game. 5 if you count the Hadoken, which I don't. But like you get the boots in Chill Penguin stage to do the dash, which is a godsend, that dash. Then you can get armor that cuts back the damage you take. You can get a helmet to let you bash through certain bricks, and you can get a Mega Buster upgrade or an X Buster upgrade that'll then let you charge up all the Robot Master weapons. I'm not going to dunk on you for it. I've played this game a million times. Did you get all of the power-up capsules?
Okay, so this is the first time I've done like a full playthrough of it, and kind of. Okay. I kind of got them all. I didn't quite get them all. There was one I couldn't find.
Okay.
And then I looked up how to find it, and I said, "Fuck that! I'm not doing that." And it was the arm power up.
There you go. That is my biggest. I posted on social media, and I said, "I love Mega Man X." But this one jump is torture. And the people that know. And I had a couple of people comment and say, all you've got to do is get the upgraded Mega Buster and then upgrade Chill Penguin's weapon. Because when you charge up Chill Penguin's weapon, you make an ice platform that you can stand on and jump off as it's sliding. But I countered them and said, like, you can't because the Buster upgrade is up there. So I can't. The only way to get up there is to do that goddamn dash jump. And if you've never played this, ladies and gentlemen, I implore you, just look up and then you'll understand what we're talking about. There are these bricks at the top of a stage and you have to like dash jump off of this platform, and you've got like a fucking 50th of a frame to grab these bricks. And as soon as you touch them, you've got to start mashing jump. And you wall jump off them, break through them with your helmet, and you get up there, and the Buster is up there. It is so easy to accidentally fall off if you even get a hold of them in the first place. Fortunately, you can like exit the level if you have to, come back in. I mean, like it's only like 30 seconds into the level. I don't remember whose level it is, and I think it's Flame Mammoth. I'm almost positive it's Flame Mammoth. But dude, that jump. And fucking all of you that were coming at me being like, sucks to suck, it's not that hard. I'm very good at this game. No offense. I'm willing to bet I bet you in 215 episodes, I've never said this. I'm willing to bet I'm better at this game than 90% of the people listening to this podcast. This is the one. Maybe Super Mario World.
About myself, but I love your confidence.
Yeah, I'm good at this game. That's a tough jump. I had one person on Twitter that was like a speedrunner for this game, and they were like, "That if I'm going to lose a speed run, that's the jump. That's a tough fucking jump." So that is my biggest gripe. I love the way it's hidden. I think it's a clever hiding spot. But like the hiding spot is tough enough. Why couldn't you have just put one more brick down? Why does it have to like what is the point of this?
Well, and I don't know if you know this, but if you don't get that, Zero just gives it to you later.
So I did get told that. I did not know that because I've never not gotten it. But then I was told that, yeah, you'll just get given it later. But like,
why I was like, I did find them all.
I get you. Okay.
But I didn't really find that one. I had to look it up, which I hate doing.
Yeah, me too.
That was the only time I looked stuff up for this game, though. And usually I do kind of do a little bit of Googling for Mega Man, but not this one. I wanted to really experience it, like, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, organically.
Yep. And that's so like to me now, like as we're going into the positives, to me, one of the coolest things about this game is there's the 8 heart tanks, there's 4 energy tanks, there's 4 weapon capsules, and then the Hadouken, which we'll talk about. It doesn't really matter. I hate the Hadouken, but I feel like all of them are fairly well hidden, but I don't think any of them are obnoxiously hard to find.
No, I agree. So I didn't use a guide, but I was able to find 3 of the 4 capsules, 3 of the 4 energy tanks, and all of the hearts.
Yeah. And you know what I love about where they are hidden? And I know there are other Mega Man games that do this as well. One of my favorite things about this game is the way your weapons can interact with the environment.
Yeah.
And like, like when you're at Storm Eagle's stage, which is one of the coolest stages in the game, the airport stage, and there's the flammable canisters.
Yeah, but you need to go to Flame Mammoth first. This game operates like or at the very least, this is how I played it, but it plays like a Metroidvania.
Yeah, it does. Agreed. 100%. Yeah.
Because I went through and I played through all of the levels. I unlocked the Sigma stage, but then I fucked around for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's like, what can I do with everything?
Yeah.
Like, there's something I can melt with my fire. What's under there? A heart. Sweet. You know, like it's a game that really, really does encourage you to look around your environment and engage in your environment.
Yeah, agreed.
This game rocks, dude.
Yeah, I love exploring in this game. Even though I know where it all is, I just like and I really do think some of the levels are a little bit mediocre, but I think some of the levels in this game, we'll get into the music later because the music in this game turns me on a little bit. But like my favorite level in this game is Storm Eagles because it's the way you're at like the airport. Eventually you end up on like a plane And then you're like fighting in the sky. And there's such a cool part. I think it's one of the energy tanks. Don't quote me, but it's Storm Eagles, where it's hidden in like a tower, like an airport tower, and you like blast out the windows of the tower, and then the E-tank is in there. It's
I'm pretty sure it was an E-tank.
Yeah. I love that. I'll go as far as to say, like, and now granted, it's not fair to compare this game to the 6 NES Mega Mans because it's the Super Nintendo. It's got a lot more power under the hood for sure. But
you can compare it to Mega Man 7, but
yeah, you can. And I like Mega Man 7, but this game is so much better than Mega Man 7.
Like, you know what else this game does that like was something I noticed immediately, and I'm like, that's interesting, is that it tutorializes the game without tutorializing it. So like at the beginning of the game, you get like kicked into like this hole, and you're at the hole, and there's just like a giant wall, and like the game never tells you what to do. You just have to figure out that in this new Mega Man game, you can wall jump.
Right. Oh yeah, the opening tutorial level. Which, like, man, I remember playing this game as a kid. I would read this game all the time. And I was so obsessed with that, like, trying to fucking beat Bile at the end of that tutorial level. And it's like, it's designed to kill you. But, like, God, I would get so mad. I get it. But you're right. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, it drops you in a cliff. And, like, you're either going to rage quit, turn the game off, or eventually you're going to learn that you can climb up that wall.
Yeah. Now... back to a couple of issues that I have with this game. I want to talk about the Legacy Collection specifically. I think the Legacy Collection sucks. And
no,
I think a lot
why? Why is that? Now, wait, what did you play it on? Switch?
I played it on Xbox One.
I played it on Switch, so I'm just curious. Okay, go ahead.
I don't like, especially because I think this wouldn't have been a big deal if I was playing on Switch, if I'm being honest, but I don't like that in this collection, despite what Konami's doing, there isn't a save state option. And I know that's like, oh, what a bitch. But like, I'm an adult and I got like adult shit to do sometimes, you know?
No,
just give me a save state option.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Like, I mean, I do like its password system is like not as complex as some old retro games password systems, but I'll go one step further and just say like, this game came out after Super Mario World. Like at this point, it should have had a battery. Like it should have had save files.
It must have just been like way cheaper to not have batteries or something.
Maybe, but I'll give you that. It should have. You know what I was going to complain about is, and I don't find that, to be fair, I replayed this on my Switch, and I don't remember this being an issue with a Super Nintendo controller in my hands because I found the buttons a little bit more accessible than joypad buttons. But trying to use that dash with the A button.
It's ridiculous.
It's tough. And I know you can tap left, right to dash. But
I'm so glad you brought this up because I hated it so much that I went in and I remapped my controller so that one of my bumpers was my dash, which felt way better. But because the Mega Man X Legacy Collection fucking sucks, you can't save your remapped controller, so you have to remap it every fucking time you play the game.
Yeah, it's like, I like the way that you can use the 2 shoulder buttons to go through your weapons. Like, that's convenience. But yeah. I do agree for like, especially with how often, like, dude, that, like, I'll ask you, do you remember which Robot Master you went to first?
I tried a few different ones first, but eventually ended up beating Chill Penguin first.
Chill Penguin's, yeah. Like, if you're new, of course, you've got to guess until you find the one, right? Chill Penguin is where you start. Not only because he's a bitch, but because you get those zoom boots in the first level, and the dash makes such a difference.
Yeah, that's right.
But I do agree, like, again, with a Super Nintendo controller, it's not as tough. I did find it tricky with the Joy-Cons and like, yeah, I like, especially for how, dude, one of the coolest things about this game is doing the wall jump with the dash. And like clearing like 9/10 of the screen. It turns me like you fly, but it is tricky to do with the joy. Yeah. Like, again, I don't even want to consider that a criticism from my perspective, because playing it natively on the Super Nintendo, it's a lot easier with that controller.
And it's really fun. And what was cool about the way I did it, because the first one I tried to do was launch Octopus.
Yeah.
And like, after playing it for a little while, I'm like, I'm clearly not supposed to be here. Like, this is obviously not where I'm supposed to be.
Sure.
And so I gamed over and I ended up leaving that stage. But then later on in the game, when I came back to Launch Octopus, I breezed through it.
Right.
Like it was like nothing. And it seemed like the hardest stage in the world to me at the time.
Now, so that is a great segue into one thing I wanted to talk about that I fucking love. Like, to me, Robot Masters can make or break a Mega Man game. Like a bad set of Robot Masters is like, these, and like before I get the emails, these are Mavericks. I know they're not Robot Masters. This game and Mega Man 7 on the Super Nintendo does a great job of this too. But the jump from 8-bit to 16-bit when it comes to designing these Robot Masters is so massive in this game, because I think Chill Penguin is by far the bitch of the team, and even he looks cool. Like, I think these are some of the best Robot Masters in any Mega Man game ever.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned Launch Octopus, dude. Did you notice I fucking pop for this every time? When he drops in and his health meter fills up and it's getting ready to fight, he points at you with one of his tentacles and then points down. Like, you're going down. And I fucking love that so much.
What a tiny little thing to include in the game.
Yeah, and it's so badass because it's just a minor little, like, point, down. And then the fight starts and you're like, oh, fucking show you stupid fucking. I love their weapons too. I don't mind talking about those. I love the Robot Masters. I like the way that when you use their weakness on them in this game, not all of them, but some of them have like a unique reaction. Like when you hit Armored Armadillo with the Spark Mandrill Spark, he like gets electrocuted. Yeah, and all his armor falls off. That's so sick.
And you know what I like about this game too, though, is that with the exception of a couple, I would say, I don't think that using the weaknesses on the bosses make them too easy.
No, but now it's funny. Okay, go ahead. Finish your thought, and then I have something to add to that.
With the major exception of Storm Eagle, who goes down in like 4 hits and sucks. So just make sure before anybody gives me shit that I'm very clear that Storm Eagle sucks.
I mean, he looks awesome, but yeah, he's an easy fight.
Super easy fight. But like
the one
even using like the rolling shield with Launch Octopus was like that has there is, you will have to do it a few times and you will, like, it's not just a free win like it is. That's how I kind of feel about Mega Man 2, is that like once you get the order of Mega Man 2, it's just a bunch of free wins.
I mean, I feel like that about most, like I actually tweeted about that the other day. There are a few, like I said, beating Mega Man Robot Masters with their weakness is almost as good as sex. It is so satisfying. But now it's interesting that you said that, because like I actually, this is me, I usually fight Storm Eagle with my Buster, because I find because I like Chameleon Sting is the one he's really weak against.
Yeah.
And I cannot and I always fight Sting Chameleon last.
Interesting.
And you mentioned how it doesn't make them too, like, that's the one, to me, this is my opinion, Sting Chameleon without his weakness is the hardest enemy of the 8. He'll fuck me up. But
I also agree. I think I had the weakness. I had the
cutter.
It was the boomerang?
It's Boomer Quanger's boomerangs. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had the boomerang for this one, and it is pretty fucking hard.
But there's there's a pattern you can get into with Chameleon where he'll jump up onto the wall and then you throw a boomerang. It'll hit him. He'll fall over you. Jump back up. You hit him. He'll fall. Like it's ping pong, and like you don't even, like, Mega Man could sleepwalk through it.
I just spammed the boomerang pretty much every second until he died.
Because he is, in my opinion, he is by far the toughest of the 8. Like, I find him the toughest. I find Chill Penguin very easy. Like, we're not talking because of their weaknesses. I'll be honest, like, Chill Penguin's pretty easy. Flame Mammoth is pretty beatable with or without his weakness. Storm Eagle, I find pretty easy. I find Boomer Quanger fairly easy as long as he doesn't get a hold of you too many times.
Yeah,
like
I didn't have much issue.
they're not the toughest Robot Masters ever, but to me, like, again, that goes kind of back to how I find them easier, the game easier. I just like, again, the 16-bit graphic jump to these guys, how giant some of them are compared to you. Like, I don't know how well you know the original Mega Man games. Have you ever played Mega Man 1, the very first one?
I've played it, but not much.
Okay. One of the 6 Robot Masters in that one is Gutsman, the big dummy. He's like the super strong guy. And like, I think he's supposed to be a lot bigger than you, like in the cartoon he is, but in the game, he's just a little bigger than Mega Man because it's an original NES game and they have no graphics, right? Like, I imagine him being the size of like Flame Mammoth. And that's one of the things I love about this game is that a couple of them, like Chill Penguin, Sting Chameleon, they're about your size. A couple of them are a little bit bigger. And then you get up against Spark Mandrill and particularly Flame Mammoth, and like, they're not that tough, but when you walk into that room and see them, you're like, holy fuck. I'm just going around in circles, but I cannot overemphasize how much I love the design of all. I don't think there's a dud in the 8. I really don't.
I agree. I think they're all really, really fun. And like I said, they might not all be the hardest, but some of them aren't the easiest either. But it doesn't matter because all 8 are fun.
Yeah, they are. And I also want to say, if the Robot Masters make or break a Mega Man game, the weapons they give you are like a close second. And I actually, and again, I don't think it's fair to compare it to the NES, Super Nintendo, but like, there's some dope weapons in this game. Even if a lot of them are kind of the same old, you know, the fucking, this one gives you a shield, this one goes up walls, this is homing missiles. The 8 weapons are rad, but then when you get that charged up Mega Buster and you get the ability to like get an extra weapon with each of them by charging up your Buster, that's the first thing I do when I get a hold of that X Buster, the upgrade is I'm like, well, now I need to see what these 8 weapons will do now. And some of them are fucking sick.
Hell yeah.
Like you can turn invisible, like with the Chameleon's weapon. Like I fucking love that shit. Or like people kept telling me with Chill Penguin, you can make a platform to ride on, and I
supposedly
I love this goddamn game so much. I want to talk about the music, but I want to wait because I think that might be my favorite part. I will just quickly bring it up because if I don't, I'll take shit. Did you know about the stupid Hadouken thing, the fireball?
I did not.
Okay, so if you have everything in the game, all the energy tanks, all the hard upgrades, all the capsules, everything. Oh fuck, whose stage is it now? This is gonna fucking it's gonna bother me now. I think it's Armored Armadillo. Don't quote me if I'm wrong, everybody. I think it's Armored Armadillo. Because Armored Armadillo is the one where you ride those mine carts through. Those like spiky mine carts, I think. I might be wrong. That doesn't matter. Anyway, when you get to the end of their level, if you jump off, you can go up there and there's like a final capsule, and it's like, because it's Capcom game, right? You can get the I don't know who in Street Fighter uses the Hadouken. Is that Ryu?
I think so, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? You can get that ability in the game, and if you can get one off and hit an enemy with it, it'll kill any Robot Master in one shot.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
Yeah, like I never use it. Because other than it being an Easter egg, I think it's kind of dumb. Like I'm like, well, that just breaks the game. But I do think it's a cool little extra thing. If I didn't bring it up, everybody would have yelled at me for not fucking bringing it up. But it doesn't matter to me.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I found like the last string of bosses to be pretty tough. Like I was kind of struggling to get through the second phase of Sigma there.
Oh, the one where he's like got the lightsaber and he's jumping around.
Yeah, and he's like blowing fire and shit, and there's platforms and.
Well, what can be okay? So I shouldn't say it's frustrating, but like this is one of the reasons I feel this is one of the easier games because like every time you finish, in some of the old Mega Man games, dude, once you go to Wily's Castle, like there's no going back to grind for health. You're going through Wily's Castle, and in this one, every time you beat a level, it takes you back to the map, or every time you game over, it takes you back to level select, and then you can go grind and fill up your E-tanks again. And I'm not. Again, like I like there's nothing wrong with needing them to get through, but I just think I actually frankly think it's a good design choice because if you want to make it harder on yourself, you don't go back and grind and fill up your E-tanks. But if you need that extra help, it's there. Like you're not fucked. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Absolutely.
which I think is a cool choice. And I want to ask you too. Never even mind this story. You and I were talking about the story of this game before we started. I don't even care about the story of this game. I just like playing Mega Man. Do you like Sigma?
Sigma, like the villain?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, he's not Wily.
No, he kind of looks like an Incredible Crash dummy.
Yeah, sort of.
I'm like, that's exactly how I feel. And maybe that's just, I'm like, you're no Wily. Like, this is...
I don't trust you, new guy. You're not my real dad.
And I understand that, like, so for those of you that don't know the story, in very quick form, basically, like, X was designed by Dr. Light, which is, I love when he fucking pops up in those capsules and talks to X, like, from the grave. That's such a great tie back to the original Mega Mans. But, like, all these other Mavericks and everything, like Zero and all the other... Zero and then the Mavericks were the bad guys in this game, and Sigma and everything like that. They're all created from X. Like, X is the blueprint, and then they're all designed from him. I don't know again, story doesn't really matter. I think it would have been really cool if Wily had somehow created Sigma. Like,
and then that could be the tie back. Is that not in like future games of Mega Man X?
I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know the story of the X games as well. But, like, it's just like if this dude, like if Dr. Kane found X and he was designed by Dr. Light, I just think it would have been really neat if, like, somebody had found something designed by... Wily is just so iconic. It's so hard to replace him.
Totally.
And I just can't get on board with Sigma. I'm like, you're just a fucking crappy crash dummy.
Yeah. I don't hate him that much, but he ain't my favorite.
No,
my favorite villain in any video game.
No. Do you like Zero?
Yeah, I love Zero actually.
Do you? All right.
I kind of want to play. There's like the Game Boy Advance game that's like Mega Man ZX Zero, something like that. It's like a Mega Man X game where you play as Zero.
Yeah,
I like to play that. Maybe
this is gonna be an unpopular take. I'm not a Zero guy. I don't care for him.
Not a Zero guy.
It just feels like a tryhard with his stupid hair. I don't like him. I'm a huge Proto Man fan.
Right? Oh, okay. Well, Proto Man is good. I'll give you that.
Yeah, and I look at Zero and I'm like, who are you trying to be? Get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, he's like, at the very beginning of the game, he's like, X, you're a pussy. I got this. And then by the end of the game, he's like, X, maybe you're the hero. And I'm like, yeah, I am. Fuck off, Zero.
It's like I knew it the whole fucking time.
I hate you. Anyway, I had to touch on him. I'm not he looks cool, but I'm not a fan. I don't know.
You know what I love in this game that I love more than any other Mega Man game?
What?
Is the final castle level. The 4 stages that are made up of the Sigma Fortress.
Yeah.
In this, they all fucking slap. They're all great.
Yeah, I like them too, actually.
And they're super, super quick, but really intense. And then you're fighting bosses. And that's what I'm playing Mega Man to do, really. I'm there to fight bosses.
Oh, and you know what I actually like? And maybe this goes against my Mega Man heritage. Instead of having to fight the 8 Robot Masters in one room with 8 capsules, I like that they just kind of randomly pop up.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's not a popular take. Because, like, I actually enjoy the part in most old Mega Man games where you have to fight the 8 Masters again. But I liked that, like, every time you come up to, like, a boss door in this game, you don't know if it's going to be, like, a new mini-boss, like that funky spider or that weird skull tractor thing, or if it's going to be one of the 8 Robot Masters. And I love the second fight against all the Robot Masters, because at this point, if you don't know all 8 of their weaknesses, you've got it down to 1 or 2 weapons. And it is just so, again, going back to the sex thing, fuck is it sweet to beat them with the Robot Master weapon weakness. It is so satisfying. I agree. Yeah, I like the Sigma levels in this game.
I think they're really good. There is, however, that's what it was. Boomer Kuwanger. You have to refight Boomer Kuwanger.
Yeah.
Right before you fight like the giant wall with eyes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They have the same fucking weakness. So you've already used half your Chameleon Sting. Just getting Boomer Kuwanger, or not Chameleon Sting, whatever it is he's weak against. Or whoever it is. No, it's Storm Eagle.
Boomer Kuwanger's weak against the homing missiles from this.
Yeah, you're octopus. Right. You're right. I'm mixed up. It's Storm Eagle, then you fight the wall thing, but they're both weak to Chameleon Sting, so I've already used half of it.
Yeah, I can know. Yeah, I can get on board with that.
So if you die on that one, then you fucking get pushed all the way back. And another thing too about Mega Man X that I don't love is that there's no password for the completion of the Sigma stages. So if you turn off your Super Nintendo and then plug in your password, you're starting all the Sigma stages from stage 1.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah. I've never turned it off. Like, I just love this. I never turned it off.
I didn't know Switch where I should have played it.
Yeah, it's fair. But I did not know that. Wow. I actually didn't know that. I don't think I've ever turned, because I just love this. I love this game. I don't think I've ever turned it off. I didn't know that.
Yeah. When I found that out, I didn't play it for 3 days. I was like, no, I'm pissed at this.
Well, but the other thing too, this is a tip for all of you noobs. If you play this game now, when you get to the final fight against Sigma, the final level is you just start at the bottom of this like tower and you just have to like wall climb up, and then you fight like Sigma's dog cat thing, and then you fight Sigma, and then you fight Sigma again. But if you die, then until you get game over, it's like any other Mega Man game, any weapon energy you spent is gone. And so if you're using your weapons to fight Sigma and his stupid dog cat thing, and then you die at like the final phase of him or something, you might not have enough weapon juice left for the fight again. And it can be really frustrating to just sit there and slowly grind out filling your weapon energy against those little caterpillar thingies that occasionally fall down the wall. If you die and you don't have enough weapon energy, instead of grinding out fighting those caterpillars, just die, because when you get game over, all your weapons fill back up.
And I couldn't figure out for the life of me what the fucking weakness is on that dog. So the first time I beat the dog, I had used all of the shit that Sigma was weak against. So I was like, oh, well. And now this is a huge bummer.
So, okay. So then I'll ask you, because like me personally, I know like the weaknesses, like I know that I just know them from playing it so many times. I use Ice against the dog cat. I use Spark against him when he's got his lightsaber, and then Rolling Shield is the only thing you can really use to hurt him when he's like his head, like his weak, jump up there and get him. I'm just curious. Like, I personally find the cat the most difficult. Dog, whatever the fuck it's called. I find that thing the most difficult. Like, that thing hurts me more than the other two normally.
Yeah, I agree, because I don't like. Still to this day, I do not know what that fucking thing's weakness is. They all seem to do around the same amount of damage.
Oh,
which is not very much.
Yeah, if ice will hurt him, and then the thing is like you don't even have to hit him with ice. You can turn around and shoot the wall while you're running away, and it'll bounce back at him. Like one spark of the ice. Yeah, so I use ice on him.
That's actually a pretty good tip.
Yeah, but then the lightsaber one, like if you get the pattern of the way, like you just climb up the wall, let him come up after you, shoot him on the way down, shoot him when he hits the ground, and then climb back up. And as long as you get the pattern down, he can't touch you. And then that the final form, I should say too, like I know we're like 40 minutes into this, but like if this happens to be the first episode of the show you've ever listened to, I don't know if there's another episode where I actually give like I'm not very good at video games. This is like the one game where I'm like I can give some tips. Don't expect this from most episodes. But when you fight that final form, it's basically just hiding out at the bottom until the hands come down, and then go up, hit him with Rolling Shield, and and anyway. I don't know. I actually I find some of the mid bosses, that fucking octopus thing in the bubble that goes up and down, I find that thing harder than most of the Robot Masters.
The octopus in the bubble.
It's like it's like a mid-level boss, and it's like a red octopus thing, and it's in like a blue bubble but in a dry room, and it throws like bubbles at you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then like it can stick you to the ground or whatever.
Like that thing fucks me up. That thing fucks me up more than any of the Robot Masters do.
You know what one I hate the most? The fucking sea serpent one that is in, I forget what level that's in.
That's launch octopus.
It's in launch octopus.
Yeah.
The sea serpent one, because it takes it's not hard. It just takes so long.
I agree. That is such a tedious fight. And like all you can do is shoot his face or his ass, and sometimes you miss and hit his body and it bounces off, and you're like, for fuck's sake. I agree. That's a tedious fucking fight. Oh, yeah. On that note, though, talking again about how some of the secrets are so well hidden, I love that in the octopus stage, you can get up onto that submarine, blow it up, and it falls into the ocean, breaks through the floor, and then reveals that cabin at the cavern at the bottom. I love that.
I didn't know that was there. So like I shot the boat because I got up there once by accident, and I was like, oh, this thing just flashed. I think I can destroy this thing. So I just spent like, I pretty much unloaded all my weapons just to be like, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see what this is. And I found that cavern. I was like, this fucking rocks, dude.
I mean, you said it earlier. This is like, I've played a lot of the old Mega Man games, and I think this is among the funnest one to just explore.
Totally.
I agree with that. Like, especially once you've played it a few times and you know where to go, like, it's pretty quick. But like that, yeah, it's just a really fun game to just traverse and look around and try out your weapons on the environment and seeing what they do and stuff like that. I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's such a good muck about game where you just muck about until something works.
Yeah. Before we get into the music, one other thing I wanted to shout out is not just the Robot Masters, but like, I love the graphics in this game. I like Mega Man 7, and that is a fair comparison, like you said, because they're both on the Super Nintendo. I like Mega Man 7, but the sprites are huge. Like, Mega Man takes up like a quarter of the screen.
This felt more like a logical progression for Mega Man than what they did with Mega Man 7.
I think a lot of the enemies look great. Obviously, the Robot Masters look cool. I just wanted to. I would be remiss if I didn't shout out, when you get all of the armor power-ups, X looks so sick. Like, in all the white gear. Fuck, man. He goes from looking like a regular Power Ranger to looking like the Green Power Ranger.
This really is like the best looking Mega Man game that I can think of.
Yeah, agreed. I agree. Yeah. Like, I think, like, I love the original 6 on the NES. Obviously, they're not going to look as nice. 7... I think 7 looks nice, but they're so big. I don't love the kitty art style in 8. 9 and 10 go back to NES, which is dope. I think 11 looks... Don't sleep on Mega Man 11, ladies and gentlemen. It's a good game. It's tough, but it's a good game.
I've been sleeping on it because I'm just so unsure.
It's good. I love that game. But
maybe I'll jump in.
I do think this is, again, like, to repeat it, of all the Mega Mans I have played, this is my all-time favorite. Like, this is, and I know it's on the Super Nintendo, but like, this is my Super Mario World of Mega Man games. Like, I love this game.
I agree. This is now my favorite Mega Man game, which is crazy because Mega Man 3, I'm a big stan of that one too. Yeah, love Mega Man 3.
Yeah, I like Mega Man 3 too. And of course, like, we can't not talk about the music in this game.
So good. Oh my God.
Now the music in, like, listen, I know there are members of our community that don't like Mega Man, and that's fine. I'm not gonna hate on any of you, but like, I have yet to find someone that's like, oh, the music in Mega Man is gone. Like, the music in Mega Man games is traditionally spectacular, but I'll warn you all right now, you've already have heard 2 songs. I have 1 more left to play, and as I record this, all I know is I'm using this song from Spark Mandrill because that's my favorite. That might be my favorite video game track ever.
Hell yeah.
But like, God, the music in this game is so fucking good. Storm Eagles is probably my second favorite, but it is all just like, oh my God. I feel myself getting pumped up when I listen to it. It's so good.
I just love that somebody that like whoever did the score for this game was like, I'm going to take Mega Man and I'm going to add a little bit of like 90s flair to it.
Yeah.
With the music, like there's the electric guitar, the 16-bit electric guitar.
Yeah,
it is wailing. I love it.
It gets you fired the fuck up, man. It is just, I know. I'm
thinking about it now. I'll probably go back and play this game right when we're done this podcast because now I want to play it again.
Yeah, I kind of do too. And like, I just finished it, and I'm like, I should move on. But I want to play it again. I'll never get tired of playing. I play this game multiple times a year. I'll never get tired of this fucking game.
This will be an annual for me now. I was sufficiently in love with this game.
It's so good. I think, boy, I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, we talked about how easy it is. We talked about I think that's just about it. The only other thing I'll say, quick minor thing, I don't really like it when Mega Man games give you the option to collect like bolts and buy power-ups like between levels. Some of them do that, and I like that mechanic in other games. I don't love it in the Mega Man games. I like that this game doesn't. Like, this one is just X against the world. I like that better.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I think there's no need for a currency in this game. I think you collect everything just at the exact pace that you should.
Yeah. I mean, Boy, I think I'm trying to. Oh no, I think that's it. Like other than that, I think are you like have we? I think we've done everything. I just love this game.
I think we covered everything. It's not a very big game, right? There's
No, it's
just
not.
the 8 levels.
No,
and then plus the 3
there are people that can beat this game in shorter time than this podcast is. No question. All right.
I'm sure somebody has while we were recording.
No question. Actually, while we're scoring, I'm gonna look up what the speed run record is for Mega Man X because I'm curious.
Yeah, we've been recording for what 50 minutes, 45.
We're at 45 and change. Yeah. All right. So we got to score this thing. 8 just seems obvious because there's 8 bosses. So I'll ask you then, what would you score Mega Man X out of 8?
Oh man.
Oh yeah, they have totally 30 minutes 54 seconds
boy.
is the record.
What is it?
30 minutes 54 seconds any percentage.
Oh, so somebody has beat it faster than this podcast.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh yeah,
okay.
substantially faster.
Where would I score this out of 8? That one's really tough because like I don't want to give it a full 8, but 7 seems too low.
You can go you can go percent. Like I allow decimal points here.
I'll do a 7. I don't usually like to do half marks, but I'll give a 7.5 mark.
Yeah, all right. And just for the record, speed run record Mega or X Buster only is 40 minutes 17 seconds.
Oh wow!
And
Jesus.
then 100% in the game is 34 minutes. Jesus Christ!
Fucking hell, dude!
All right. Well, I said I was better than 90%. These are the 10%. These people are better at this game than I am. I'm going like 7.75. Like my only beef with it is that it's not. I have to take the Super Mario World tax.
And
but
I'm not gonna do that jump to get the arm power up.
Oh yeah, that jump. Okay, 7.74 because it loses a 0.01 for that fucking jump. I still don't understand why you had to put that. Like, I get the hiding. The hiding spot is brilliant. Why does that jump have to be so stupid? I'm sorry, it's stupid.
I don't know. I agree. That jump is horrific.
But other than that, I've said it many times. I'll ask you as we start to wrap this up. When I talk, I get a lot of messages from people that are like, yo, because everyone knows I'm a big Mega Man fan. And they're like, I've never played a Mega Man. Where should I start? I usually recommend Mega Man 2 if you want to play original Mega Man. I recommend Mega Man X if you're willing to play any Mega Man. Do you have any different takes?
I think I would still send people to Mega Man 2 first. Just because like Mega Man 2, like Mega Man X is easy, but Mega Man 2 is like a lot easier than
yeah. If you and listen, I want to say because I've had people call me out on this. I agree that if you play Mega Man 2 on difficult mode, it is more difficult. But someone that's playing it for the first time isn't going to put it on hard mode. They're going to play on normal. And I agree with you, Bradley. On normal, that is not a tough video game.
When I was playing Mega Man X on the Legacy Collection, anytime I would like die a lot of times in a row, the game would be like, would you like to switch to rookie mode? And I'm like, no, mind your own fucking business.
Yeah.
let me play my game.
I wonder what rookie, that's for what you all know, like that's on the Legacy Collection. That's not on like the basic game.
Yeah, that's it's like an easier difficulty if you're just looking to experience the story, but who's doing that?
I wonder how easy that, I'd like to know how easy that is. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, you and I have covered Mega Man X3. You and I have covered Mega Man X. I can assure all of you the day is coming, probably in like another 100 episodes, where Bradley and I will review Mega Man X2. We have to finish the trilogy at some point.
Well, I have the Legacy Collection, so like might as well.
Yeah, we have to at some point. And X2, I like X2 a lot. It's a good game.
I've never played X2.
It's solid. I think it's I am, for my money, the original Mega Man X trilogy goes 1, 2, 3, like in order of I took some shit for the X3 review, but like it's not that it's bad, but I don't like X3 as much as I like X or X2.
Totally.
But anyway, fuck yeah, Bradley, as always, thank you. Listen, man, I'm really sorry about the Hall of Fame, but I can't let you guys in there. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm actually just like finding out what your favorite games of all time are, and then suggesting we do it on the podcast, giving it really good reviews so that you trust my opinion.
You know what I want?
Lying. I didn't even play Mega Man X.
Yeah. You know what I want? I just want one person someday, like your brother or somebody, to just be like, I don't even care. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even exist, and your Hall of Fame is stupid. Like I just want someone someday to just be like, it sucks. I don't give a fuck about your stupid Hall of Fame.
No, absolutely not. I require validation at all times. I'd like to be in the Hall of Fame.
And I appreciate that. But I like that people respect my made up stupid Hall of Fame that means nothing. Buddy, as always, great chatting with you, and I have no idea what the next game you and I'll cover is, but I'm 100% sure you'll be back on the show at some point. So thanks, man, as always.
All right, man. Thank you so much for having me on.
And that's going to do it for this week's episode. Bradley, thank you so much for giving me a call and talking the outstanding Mega Man X. And to every single one of you geeks listening to this right now, whether this was your first Remember the Game or your 215th, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I know there's a lot of retro gaming podcasts out there, and I'm glad you took a chance on ours. If you didn't hate it, leave us a nice review. I'm not sure what those reviews do, but I assume they help other people find our show. And if the good podcasts are going to ask for them, goddamned if I'm not going to. And if you're thinking, I need more of this, well, guess what? There is more. There is literally hundreds of bonus podcasts waiting for you right now for just $2 at patreon.com/rememberthegame. You get 2 extra podcasts every week. You get Expansion Pass every Thursday, Game Patch every Friday. Game Patch, we look at all the modern gaming news. Thursday on Expansion Pass, we just talk about some random video game topic. Tomorrow's episode is Expansion Pass 129, one of my favorite episodes ever. 4 of my regular guests are going to join me for a fantasy football-style draft of NES games. They each drafted a library of 10. Our patrons will vote for who drafted the best lineup, and we'll be donating $100 to the charity of the winning team drafter's choice. I think it's going to be a great episode, and I hope you all enjoy it. That's going to do it. I'm going to thank some Patreons and get out of here. I will be back next week with Remember the Game number 216, which, if the stars align, will feature former Remember the Game Hall of Famer Mark McHugh as we talk Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Hyperstone Heists for the Sega Genesis, because it's been a while since we talked Genesis. I promised I was going to try to talk more of those games, and god damn it, I haven't kept my promise, but I'm going to try to start keeping my promise. I am going to thank some Patreons and get out of here. Thanks a lot. Oh, yeah. I have a P.O. Box. I'm on Twitch. You can find all the rest of my information at rememberthegamepodcast.com. I got to remember to plug that. Okay, take it easy, everybody. I will talk to you on the next one. Cheers. Goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I churn out every week without all of their support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I'm contractually obligated to thank them by saying their names in an incredibly quick and insincere fashion. So a huge thank you to Makeshift Mallow Magic Money, Joe Buck, Sharonic, Andre, Man, Keegs is cool. No, he's not. James Clark, King Bahamut, Dave McGee, DNA Gaming, Slick Rick, Doug Dorn, Charlie Medeiros, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Fraser Burns, Lil Bunny Fufu 89, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Aaron Lawson, Nathan Tremblay, A-Town, Morgan, Zane Donovan, Ryan Kinchin, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang Darren, Sam Wright, Andy Hudson, Chris Copland, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny CCDC, Joe LeBlanc, Squints, Titan 420, Zonko 504, Russell Aldridge, Jeff Bergeron, Captain N, Daniel, Tunable Power, John Woodruff, Randy Beerage, Just a Fish, Noob Q, Denzalo, Holmes, Zach Shepard, Chris Dickin, Matthew D'Amico, Frosty Feet 492, Triple, Austin Cook, Elijah Burns, Stephen Parnell, Ray San Wantonga, Zach Coiner, DBXJ, Jameer Williams, Steve Dalk, Standard Ass Brian, that's new, Trav H, Mizuru, Nicholas Chaffee, David Marcus, Phil Lencher, Ruben Elizald, Eric James, Riley Turvey, Jake Carter, Laces Out Dan, C-Spin, Thomas Smith, Nicola, Munch Makuchi, Leroy Westrich, Dark Squall, Jerry the 3D Printed Saustrich, Russell, whose last name I can't remember how to say, Evolva, Sean Ramos, DB Cooper, Stud Still Smash, Mojo the Helper Monkey, Brant Hewitt, Gabe, Dan Fusselman, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, John Jameson, Wyatt the Surgeon who's not a surgeon, Ro, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Bucky Duck, Hega Waffle, High Plains Drifter, K-Atch, Jimothy, Joe Stone, Chris Williams, Oroku Saki's Gardener, Nicole Novak, Cody Richardson, General Fury, Dem Boys on the Roof, The Jamadian Nightmare, Matt Hamilton, Nomad, James Black, Jugs Bad, okay, Sam Carpenter, Nerdy Hybrid, Adam Fletcher, Colin Bollinger, Lucas, Joey Mercury, IR Jackal, Theran, Squeaknuts, Zias, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Lance Jones, Brian Neese, Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Musty Beetle, Big Poppy Logan, Phil Va, John M. Watkins, Beef Dingleberry, Michael Barjudina, sorry Michael, Hitchy Poo, Arctic Fission, Romaldo Marquez, Connor McCann, Bulma Simp, Mark but not McHugh, that's you too. Darren Dickey, Trevor McKee, Quiet Place Queen, Cam Nelly 23, Zamatos Skillaroni, Angelo Leonardo, Lugnut, Scott Weiss, Edgemaster P, it's going off the rails now. Oh my God, it froze. Bobby Litton, Roger Russell, Taylor Lynn White, Kia Pup, Knife Goes In, Guts Come Out, Works For Me, McGrathen, Heman Demon, James Sanabria, Derek Cox, Dakota Guy, and Alexander Camps. That was not the worst edition of shoutouts I've ever done. I can live with that. Thank you all so much for the support. You're the best. Minus one of you, and you know who you are. Purple Monkey Dishwasher. Oh, fuck. I forgot to push stop.